To linear equations, example number 1. This is going to be the first type of problem you're going to see on the test. They're going to give you 2 points. It's going to be a graph. They're not going to give you the coordinates written like this. It's just going to be 2 points, and you're going to have to come up with the coordinates yourself. They're going to ask you to provide them with the equation of a line given these 2 points. There's generally 2 of these equations, and we're going to cover a couple of examples. It's not that difficult, but just as a refresher. Okay, so let's get started. Alright, so we're going to need, if you haven't looked at the linear equations concepts, you may want to look at that video. Alright, the equations we're going to need are slope, m is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. We're also going to need, potentially, y equals mx plus b. And we're also going to need the equation y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. This is known as the point. Obviously, y1 and x1 are the points and the slope. What we're going to do here is we're going to take these 2 points and we're going to use this equation here to calculate the slope, okay? So let's see if I can get started over here. So the equation is the slope is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Okay, this is going to be 0.2, so y sub 2 is going to be minus 1, so m is equal to minus 1 minus y sub 1, which is 1. Okay? X sub 2 is going to be 1 minus x sub 1, which is going to be minus a minus 2. Okay? Freshening this up a little bit, we've got minus 1 and a minus 1, so m is equal to negative 2 over, it's going to go to positive times a negative, that's going to give us, negative times a negative, that's going to give us a 2 plus 1, that's going to give us a 3. So our slope is a minus 2/3. So I'm going to write that up here. M is equal to minus 2/3. Another point here, as you move from left to right, the y values decrease for negative slopes. This is a negative sloping line. Quickly, this is a positive sloping line, okay? This is your x and y, this is your line here. That's a positive sloping line. Okay? As you move from left to right, the y values decrease. Let me clean this up a little bit here. So we've got our slope. Now, the next thing we want to do is we just want to pick a point for y1 and x1. We've got our slope. We're going to use this equation, and we're going to put it in the form of y equals mx plus b eventually, okay? Okay, the next thing we need to do is pick either this point or this point and plug it in, plug the y1 value and the x1 value. So let's go ahead and pick point 1, okay? So we've got, I'm going to start over here. So we've got y minus y1, which is 1, is equal to the slope, which we just calculated, negative 2/3, times the quantity x minus x sub 1, which is going to be a negative 2. Okay? Now, do this way. Okay, so let's go ahead and clean this guy up a little bit. So we're going to have y minus 1 is equal to negative 2/3 x, multiplying through. Now this is going to go to positive, right? Negative times a negative, so that's going to be a plus. I'm sorry, yes, wait a second here. Negative, yes, minus a minus 2 is going to be a positive 2 plus 2 times the quantity negative 2/3. Okay? Let me try and continue on down here. Let's add plus 1 to both sides, okay? So we're going to have y is equal to negative 2/3 x plus 2 times negative 2 is going to give us, let me just rewrite this as a negative 4 over 3 plus 1. Let me write this up here. Let's continue this up here. So we have y is equal to negative 2/3 x. Sorry about that. That's a 3. Negative 2/3 x minus 4/3 plus 1. Okay. Well, you can see here. Okay. Now we're just going to turn this 1 into a 3 over 3, okay? So that's going to be y is equal to negative 2/3 x, get a common denominator basically, minus 4/3 plus 3/3, okay? So we've got a 4/3, negative 4/3 plus a positive 3/3. That's going to give us a negative 1/3. So we've got y is equal to negative 2/3 x minus 1/3. Now that's our answer. What they're going to do is you're going to have 4 answers to select from. This is not going to be what it looks like, okay? One of the tricks that they do is they'll multiply this through by the 3 to get rid of the denominator. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've got this equation here, y equals negative 2/3 x minus 1/3. Let me go ahead and write it up here. So we've got y is equal to negative 2/3 x minus 1/3. So now we're going to multiply through this whole equation by 3. So we're going to end up with 3y is equal to negative 2x minus 1. Okay? Then what they may do is they may swap these guys, okay? They'll move this one over here and they'll move this one over here. So now we're going to have 2x is equal to negative 3y minus 1. And that may be the answer. Like I said, they're going to give you an A, B, C, or D. It's not going to end up like this, okay? That's the biggest hurdle. So you go ahead and solve it, put it in terms of y equals mx plus b. Or what you may even do is quickly look at the answers on this type of a problem and see what form they have it in. Okay, you may save yourself a step. Okay, a couple other points that I wanted to point out before we go to the next problem is you can see that this is a negative slope. We've got it going there. We've also got the b, which is the y-intercept, is negative 1/3, pretty close. And also that, notice that this graph right here doesn't have a directly readable y-intercept. In other words, it was 1/3. You may get one here, and we'll go over a problem like that, where you can actually read the intercept off of the graph, and therefore you can plug the b in here and calculate the slope like this, okay? So you may end up using this equation right here as opposed to the point slope, okay? This is called the slope intercept, by the way.